So welcome to Inspiring Others to Find Fulfillment. How you all doing? Hope you are all staying well and staying safe. COVID-19 is very, very real. This second wave, it's something else. It's just fly, and before you know it, this person is down, that person is down. Please keep yourself safe. Keep at least because of your family and because of yourself. Stay well, stay safe. Use your nose masks wherever it is you are. And remember to always wash your hands. Okay, inspiring others to find fulfillment 2021. Every one of us, we are trying to find our feet, we are trying to find that vision. A lot of us, we must have had our vision board, we must have written down this is what we want to achieve in 2021. We pray 2021 is not going to be like 2020, that we all wrote down our goals and aspirations, our visions. Unfortunately, COVID-19 came and we couldn't do anything. Just a little. I'm sure a lot of us, probably 60% of our goals, our visions was fulfilled. But never worry. 2021 is here. Those aspirations, those goals that you had, you can still bring them into 2021. Align them with the new ones you think you want to set and watch things happen tremendously in your life. So today we'll be talking about effective communication. Effective communication. How should we communicate? How are we supposed to communicate in order for us to find that fulfillment? In order for us to find that purpose? In order for us to fulfill our goals? What are the things that we ought to do? What are the things that we're supposed to do to get that purpose? To get that fulfillment? To be happy? To get that success? You know, fulfillment is a journey. It's not, I am here today, oh, I have relaxed, I have gotten my fulfillment. So no, you keep going as you take another step and you get into that fulfillment. You are happy you've achieved this, you move to the next level. You don't just rest on your you keep moving until the end of time. So effective communication. How do we communicate? For things to get done, in our place of work, in our place of worship, in our homes, with our teenagers, with our friends, with our bosses, with our subordinates, how do we pass out information? How do we communicate to this person? That our communication, our information doesn't look as if we are rude, as if we don't sympathize with them, as if we don't have empathy. Communication. Communication, what is communication? Communication is the act of conveying meanings from one entity or group to another through the use of mutually understood signs, symbols, or semiotic rules. So your communication could be through signs, it could be through symbols, it could be through your body language. Your mouth could be saying something else while your body is saying something else. But most especially, a lot of people look at your body language. What you say, what does your body say with whatever it is that you're communicating. The main steps inherent to all communication are the formation of communicative motivation or the reason why you are communicating. Why you are passing that information, what are the reasons behind it. So in communicating to the other party, we must understand the message you are trying to convey. If the other party doesn't understand, then you have not sent out any information. You have not communicated. So the other party must understand you. The other party must understand your information for you to have said yes, you've communicated properly. So here are some tips on how to have effective communication. Listen, number one. You need to sharpen your listening skills. You need to be attentive when somebody is communicating, when somebody is passing information to you. Do not listen in order to react, but you must listen in order for you to respond. You know, a lot of us just listen and you already think this is what I'm going to do. When the person talks to me, this is my response is going to be. And you find out that sometimes the person says something and your reaction, and everybody is wondering, what has he or what has she said that made him or her to react this way? Because you have not listened effectively. You just respond, you just reacted. Probably when you next time you want to respond, listen to that communication, listen to that information, and respond properly. Listening is not just simply giving another person the chance to vocalize what he is or her, or she or her, he is has in his mind. Although this is valuable, listening is also the first step towards personal change. You must be able to listen. You must be a good listener. When they say leaders, a good leader is a good listener. You listen, pay attention to what your subordinate is saying. Pay attention. You probably even to your parents, pay attention to what your children are saying. That is not the time to, when they are talking to you, that is not the time to start pressing your phone. That is not the time to start watching TV. You must switch off everything and listen. Pay attention to whatever it is that they're saying, through their signs, through their body language, So these are tips that make us a good listener. Display the non-verbal attitude to encourage the speaker. When somebody is speaking, you know those signs that, just shaking your head, yeah, giving thumb up, yes, continue, all those kind of things. Let them keep talking until they've exhausted what it is that they have in them. I have a good mentor. Whenever you're talking, he usually says, he will just be clapping for you and just be cheering you on. Or when you're looking at him, he's busy nodding his head for whatever it is that you are saying. That will tell you, keep going. Just keep saying it. And it is not left for you. When you are done, you begin to, when you go back and listen to what you said, you say, I didn't say this well. But this guy keep encouraging me to talk. Keep encouraging me to say something. That is how it is. You must be a good listener. For you to be a good listener, you must display those non-verbal attitude. Encourage the listener by nodding your head when the person is talking, by saying yes. Give a thumb up. And also, do not interrupt with unsolicited advice. When the person is talking, let them finish talking. When the person asks for your opinion, then you can then talk. Don't just interrupt the person. No, I want to say something. Let them finish whatever it is that they are saying. Have you ever met somebody that when they are talking and you interrupt, they just forget whatever it is that they want to say something again? So let them finish what they're saying. Refuse the urge to say you know what they are going through when they are talking to you. Because to say the truth, no two people can have a similar experience. Because where the person is coming from is different from where you are coming from. The environment, the value, the past events that has happened in the person's life is different from what you are going through. It's different from what you went through before. So whatever it is that person has come to tell you, whatever challenges the person has come to say in front of you, it's not the same. Because your experience is never the same without what the person went through. Your environment, your past event, the values that shaped your decision is never the same with whatever that person is going through. So you can't never say, I understand what you are going through. Personally, our upbringing, they're also not the same. So don't compare your experience with another person. Just listen and let your presence do the talking. Let your presence do the talking. You're listening to them, they finish whatever it is that they want to tell you, and you come in with your own advice. You come in and don't be judgmental. Don't be judgmental. Don't say, yes, it is your fault. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Before you know it, they buckle up. They will not want to say anything to anybody any longer. Even though when they are false, that is not the time to point out their faults to them. It is the time to encourage. It is time to let them know that you have somebody to listen to them. It is time to let them know that yes, you can rely on me. You can talk to me for you to soar, for you to fulfill that purpose, for you to overcome your challenges. So listen and be a good listener. Like I said, do not interrupt people when they're talking. No matter how fantastic your idea is. Even in a meeting when people are talking and the person is saying something that is not making impact, is not saying what you want to hear, let them finish. Then you can then bring in your own. Don't interrupt them. Allow the person to finish talking. When you interrupt someone, no matter how fantastic your idea is, the other person might not want to listen to you. Because you never allow the person to finish talking. So when you bring in your own, just say, she's always showing off. She's always thinking that she knows best. She's always thinking that she can do it better than I do. No, just listen. Let them finish. And when they ask for addition, subtraction, you want to compare notes, you want to add to what the person has said, then you can then say, I disagree. Or I want to add to what the person has said, but not when they are talking. So let them finish whatever it is that they're saying. Even if you want to make a point and it is hitting up on you, you feel, this thing is burning up, I want to make this point. Before I know it, I will forget. Hey, just write it down. Write whatever it is that you want to say down and let them finish. So when they're done, you can then bring in your own. So jot it down. Whatever it is that you want to say, jot down. Keep a sticky notes, probably to help you in the morning, on your desk, on your fridge. Keep a sticky note and say, remind yourself every day, I will not interrupt people when they're speaking. I will allow them to finish talking. Your silence is just as influential as your voice. Your silence, keep it quiet and let them finish and let them talk. Let them air out whatever it is, their grievances, whatever it is they've come to you for. No one likes someone who loves to sound or to hear the sound of their own voice. You know, there are people like that. They want everybody to know that they can talk. They want everybody to know that, yes, I know better than this person. You build in a resentment to the other person. So everyone loves and respects that person that allows the other person to speak. When you allow the other person to talk, when you allow the other person to bring in their own idea to the table, when you allow the other person to also fly, when you allow the other person to contribute their own quota, they respect you for it without interrupting them. For effective communication, do not interrupt when people are talking. Number 3, become an inclusive communicator. When you're talking, I hear that in my country, Nigeria, so much. Oh, it is the Fulanis, it is the Hausas, it is the Igbos, it is the Yorubas. Your experience with a Yoruba woman, your experience with a Yoruba man does not mean every Yoruba woman, every Yoruba man are the same. Your experience with an Ibibio man or a woman does not mean that is how all the Ibibio women or all the Ibibio men, that does not mean that is the way they act. So do not generalize when you are talking. Don't say this is how the Kogi people behave. Don't say this is how the Ibibio people behave. Don't say this is how the Fulanis are. If they are not, I've met fantastic Fulanis. I've lived with fantastic Hausas. I've lived with fantastic Muslim people. Some of them, a lot of them are my best friends today. So sometimes when I hear the Fulanis are this, the Hausas are there, wow, I've never experienced such. The ones I have friends with, they are not the same. So don't generalize. Do not generalize when you are making your point with a group of people, irrespective of their background, gender, race, or color. Do not say this is how Chinese people are always behaving. Like this, based on your own experience or your personality. One thing you will agree with me is that regardless of your background, race, color, individual characters, everyone deserves to be treated with respect. Please become an effective, inclusive communicator. So treat each person as they come. Treat each individual as they approach you. Treat their issue as it comes to you. Don't say, this is the way they are. You need to give them, whenever you say Yoruba person, whenever you say, I've heard that. Somebody said to me, please, I don't allow your son to marry a Yoruba person. And I'm like, wow, really? What has a Yoruba person done to you? What have they done to you? And said, they did this. I said, wow. So, but the person that put you in this position is a Yoruba person. The person you're working with that had made life easier for you is a Yoruba person. The person that has made you to be able to get this contracts is a Yoruba person. So why did you generalize? Why did you implant that seed into that person and say a Yoruba person? Your experience with an individual, even if it's fantastic, even if it's a good behavior that you've experienced. Good man in a Yoruba land. Do not generalize. Treat each person as they come, as an individual that they deserve. So that is how to treat. So that's how to become an inclusive communicator. Also, expand your vocabulary. Read wide. For an effective communicator, you need to read wide. Check for new words every day. Don't just stick to the same word. Don't stick to the same book, the same magazine. Read wide in order for you to be able to converse with people, various people. You know, when you're dealing with their houses, their own understanding is different. When you're dealing with Yorubas, their own understanding is different in a situation when it comes to culture. So you need to be able to understand those people's culture for you to be able to pass across your information. You need to understand their culture. In Africa, we have culture. So you need to understand their culture. If you need to live with them, you need to understand their culture. Expand your vocabulary. Expand your attribute. Expand. Be adventurous. Whatever it is that you want to do, be adventurous. You know, contribute to different conversation. I hear a lot of women that say, I'm not a sports person. I don't listen to news. So what you do is just Nollywood. What you do is just sitting in front of African Magic and listen and watching how this person is doing this, that person is doing that. And when they're talking about sport, you have nothing to talk about. Hey, please. Even if you don't have in-depth knowledge of that discussion, but you're able to contribute your quota, you're able to say something about it, that is a thumb up for you. So you must be able to contribute your own to different conversations that you run. So don't just keep quiet. And when you're in a gathering, you must be able to contribute intelligently. You must be able to, so whatever it is that you're passing across to them, they must be able to understand you. They must be able to, you must be able to pass across something that people will hold on to and say, oh, I like your conversation. I like the way you contributed. I like the way you said this. I like the way you did that. Even though you don't know much about this topic, but the little you know, you've said it. You might not be able to, you might not be rooted in the conversation like I said, but you have an idea of what they are talking about. You have an idea of what your discussion is all about. And if someone uses a word that you don't understand, ask for the meaning. Ask for the meaning. Ask them, please, what is the meaning of what you just said? Don't be shy. You begin to improve on your vocabulary every day. So it's not time for you to say, no, I don't want them to know I don't understand this thing. Even if the person, if you tell the person pushing out, that is the person's business. And if you don't want to ask, please jot it down. Our phones these days, thank God for smartphones. You can quickly check on Google, check the web, solve the web for that, and you understand the conversation, you understand the word that the person has used. You understand? So, and if they want to make you feel inferior about it, that is their business. Like I said, you don't know the meaning of words, jot it down and check in order for you to be an effective communicator. Number 5, change your buts to and use also yet. Change your buts to and use yet often. The power of the spoken word. Have you ever considered speaking with someone or making a presentation and in between you just said buts? As soon as you will use that word buts, everybody's what is coming? You understand? You've been saying something, and everybody's paying attention to you. Everybody's like, oh, this is fantastic, this is awesome, and they're clapping for you. And at the end of the day, just say buts. It's like you just poured cold water on your audience or the people you're talking with. Because buts to them is a negative language. Buts to them, that everybody is expecting a negative outcome. The year 2021 is going to be fantastic. The year 2021 is going to be, we are looking up to God. The year 2021 is going to be an open door. You have the prophetic word to everyone. You've spoken well. And you said buts. Everybody takes a reverse. I'm waiting for the next thing you're going to say. You know, so let's look at it this way. I would like to go on vacation, but I am scared. That means you've ended that conversation there. Now, let's replace that but with something else. Let's just change it now. I would like to go on vacation and I am scared. Two different statements. One is putting an end to a conversation, and the other one is trying to find a solution. So let's change it. In as much as we are trying to communicate, in as much as we are trying to say something to our lives, even to your own life, to your own personal life, when you say some certain things to yourself, don't use buts. Use, instead of buts, use and. Okay, let's use another one. Yes. I do not have enough money to go to school. You've already concluded your what? Someone saying, why are you not in school? Say, I don't have enough money to go to school. You've concluded it. That means you're not making efforts. But let's look at it this way. I do not have enough money to go to school yet. That means there's still probability for you going to school. That means there's this probability for you accomplishing that purpose of you moving forward. I don't have what it takes to complete the task. Your superior gave you something. I said, I don't have what it takes to complete the task. What about you saying, I don't have what it takes to complete it yet? That means you have that purpose. You have that determination to complete it. But whatever it is that you are looking for is not yet available. And I'm sure your superior will come up to say, what is that thing that you're looking for? We'll proceed further. So it is not ending the conversation. Okay? So one is closing the chapter, one is closing the talk, one is closing the statements, while the other one is saying there is still hope. The other one is saying, I can still look for a solution. So in your conversation with people, and even to yourself, like I said earlier, practice those two words and see the effects on your own personal life and your communication lifestyle. Exchanging the buts to end and using the word yes often. So don't try to score points. My next point. Don't try to score points. We all love to be right. We all love our own points of view, and it's gratifying when we think we know the best. When you're so, it's not, you look at it as not pride. I know what I'm talking about. I know my onions. I know it. I know where I'm coming from. I know what I'm standing on. I know what I'm saying. Yes, it is right. But don't try to score points. In a gathering, in where people are, you know what, sometimes it is just best to keep quiet. Do not try to make points. Trouble comes when we try to prove our points and making someone else feel they are wrong. In a meeting, in a gathering, somebody is saying something and you are coming up with your own points and you are putting the other person down. This person, oh no, I don't agree, I disagree. Like I said, allow the person to finish. Bring your own points. Now bear in mind, the harder you try to push your points, the more people tend to shut down. The harder you try to push your points, the more people try to shut down. When they find out that it is only your points that you want to hear, you don't want to listen to other people. When they find out that it is only your own that must stand, other people's own does not matter, they shut down. Just shut them out. I've worked with people that their own ideas is what they want. And they tell you that the staff, the team people that they have, the team members that they have, they're not reliable. They're not contributing their own quota. The team members are not doing anything. They don't bring anything to the table. But when they bring them to you, what do? You shut them down. You tell them, no. I don't have time for that. Are you sure? You don't even allow them to just explain themselves. Why? So let them talk. Even if you don't need that idea right now, that moment that they've brought it, why don't you say, okay, we'll keep this in view. We will keep this until later. Thank you very much for your idea. Thank you for bringing this up. But I think we will need it in future. And I'm sure that team member will be encouraged to bring more, will be encouraged to approach you the next time, will be encouraged to do more and bring more to the table. So don't shut them down. Don't try to score your points. Don't try to say it is only your own that must stand. When they write memo, when they do something, sit down with them. You want to correct it, correct it. But don't shut them down. Don't just look at it and throw it at them that what is it that you've written? This is nonsense. This cannot fly. This one, that one. Next time they won't do anything. Because the creativity is not there. You shut it down. So allow them to be creative. Allow them to make their mistakes. Allow them to do whatever they want to do. Then you can then correct in love. So when you try to score points, it leads to resentment when matters are left to unresolved. When matters are left unresolved. So it leads to resentment. So try not to score points. Don't shut people down, even if it involves arguments. So effective communication. In other words, let's learn how to communicate to people. Our body language matters. When you're saying something, what does your body language say? What does your body say? What is your eyes saying? You're saying something to your boss and your eyes is saying something else. You're talking to your boss, your body is saying something else. So your body language, your voice, the way you stand must communicate effectively for you to be an effective communicator. So for you to pass your message across, you must understand that the person must understand whatever it is that you're bringing. The person must understand you. So let us hear from you, like we've always said. Let's practice this. Let's be a good communicator. Let's practice in our own lifestyles, whatever it is that we do, even in your own personal lifestyle. What do you say to yourself? What do you tell people? How do you communicate to your people? How do you communicate to yourself? How do you communicate to your siblings? Some people, they have not shouted, they've not communicated. Okay? I know sometimes you want to raise your voice to let them pass, for you to pass across your information, because some things are not just going well. But at the same time, let's learn to pass across our information properly and having a good body language. So, thank you so very much for joining us again this morning. Like we said, we want to hear from you. We want to know if this broadcast has helped you in life, if this broadcast have helped you to fulfill your destiny, have transported you to the next level that we are all looking towards. Fulfillment, like I said, it is a journey. So let's keep trying, let's keep moving, and we know one day we will get there if we don't rest on our own. So thank you so very much. So like we said from the beginning, COVID-19 is very, very real. It is not a past, it is very, very real. So please wash your hands properly. Obey all non-pharmaceutical regulations. Wash your hands at least for 2 seconds. Use your face masks if you're in a gathering that is more than 2 people. Even right now, we will say when the next person is talking to you, ensure that the next person is using face masks. Right now, we have community transmission. When people come into your house, let them use your face masks. Don't just say, oh, it's my brother, it's my sister, it's my neighbor. That is how it starts. Please let them use face masks when they're talking to you. And then always make sure that you have your sanitizer. In case water is not available wherever you are, use your sanitizer to sanitize your hand and disinfect your house once in a while. And I know COVID-19, it has come to stay. So we just need to live with it. We just need to ensure that we do our best to stay alive for ourselves,